Hi guys, Rose here. Oh my. Yeah, these are so cute. On a night, I just like impromptu decided to finally write this up and do it. And I finally found a pattern or stitches that I like, that I think works really, really well. And this idea came to me because my mom had bought me a set probably in the late 80s from a garage sale, and it was a little snowman and wife. And I've loved it, always. So I've always wanted to do it. And I'm just experimenting with all the different colors. So today, what we're going to need is, of course, our scissors and tapestry. Stitch marker is optional. And for the eyes, I'm going to do 12 millimeters. Now, as far as the hook goes, I don't know if you can tell a difference, but this one is done in a G hook, and this is done in an H hook. I'm going to do the H hook because I do kind of like this a little bit bigger size, but the G hook does give it a little bit tighter stitch. So it's up to you, but I'm going to go ahead and do the 5 millimeter. And for the colors today, this is just some, I believe this is, I love this yarn, and it's like in an off-white. It's like soft white. But some of these were done in actually just Red Heart Super Saver. And I'm still working through my stash, and I'm going to try this color and see how this works. So, go ahead and get your supplies, and I will meet you right back here. And they do sit up, by the way. All right. So here we go. We take our white, and we're going to start with a chain 2. 1, 2. And then we're going to do 5 single crochets in that first chain. You could also do the magic circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we are not going to join. We're not going to join. We're going to go straight into that first one, and we're going to do an increase in each stitch. So we're going to go from 5 to 10 single crochets. So this would be, if you needed to go ahead and put your stitch marker. So that's 1. And then we'll have 10 single crochets at the end of this row. So there's 2. Next would be 3. Next 4. And the last one, 5. Okay. I'm leaving my tail out on this one because I don't want this hole to get too big, and I'll sew that in a little bit later. We're still increasing, and we're doing the traditional increase. So we're going to put 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next. And at the end of this row, we're going to have 15. So let's do 1 and 2. Go ahead and put our stitch marker. Next one, 1 single crochet. Next one will be 1 and 2. Next one, 1. Next set, 1 and 2. Next one, 1 single crochet. And then we're going to do that all the way around. Increase in one, and then one single crochet. We should have 15 single crochets, and we're still increasing. So let's take this out. And in this first one, we're going to put an increase. So it'll be 2 single crochets. Two single crochets, and the next 2 stitches we're going to put 1 single crochet. So we're going to do 1, next stitch, 1 single crochet. Here we go. Increase 1 and 2, followed by 2 single crochets. 1, next stitch, 1. And that's our repeat. It uses up 3 stitches, so it's going to be an increase in 1, single crochet, single crochet. And at the end of this row, we're going to go from 15 to 20. And I'll meet you at the end of this one. 20 single crochets. Now we're going to do our last increase, and we're going to go from 20 to 25. So we're going to do in this first one our increase, just 1 and 2, and then in the next 3 stitches we're going to do 1 single crochet in each. So there's 1, next stitch, 1, next stitch, 1. Now do another increase, 1 and 2. And then next 3 stitches, 1 single crochet. It's 5 stitches in each little block. So we will have 25 at the end of this row. An increase followed by 3 single crochets for 25 single crochets at the end of this row. And I'll catch you there. I like to check and count just to make sure. And now for the next 2 rows, row 6 and 7, we're just going to put 1 single crochet all the way around. Put your stitch marker and then do 1 more row. So for the next 2 rows, 25 single crochets each, and I will meet you at the end of row 7. Now we have this. So now we're going to start decreasing the same way we increased. So in the first 2, we're going to go from a stitch count of 25, and we're going to go back down to 20. So we're going to do the invisible decrease, the front loop, scoop under there, next front loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then we just decreased those 2. Now in the next 3, we're going to just do 1 single crochet. So it's 1, 2, 3. Then in these next 2, we're going to decrease them down. So that's front loop, scoop down, front loop, yarn over 2, yarn over 2. Then 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to do that all the way around. Let's do 1 more. Go into that front loop, scoop down, go under that front loop, yarn over 2, yarn over 2, followed by 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. So go ahead and follow that pattern around, and then I'll meet you at the end of this one with 20 single crochets. Okay, 20 single crochets. Let's keep on decreasing. I'm going to go from 20 down to 15. So we're going to do invisible decrease in the first 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, followed by 2 single crochets. 1, next stitch, 1. Invisible decrease in these two, front loop, yarn over 2, yarn over 2, followed by 2 single crochets. 1, 2. So you continue that, and I will meet you at the end of this one with 15 single crochets. Now we're going to go from 15 down to 12. We're going to start working on the neck. So we have 15. We want to reduce it by 3. 3 into 15 is every 5 stitches we're going to decrease. The first 2, we're going to do a decrease. Yarn over 2, yarn over 2. And then we're going to do that. We're going to follow that with 3 single crochets. So it'll be 1, next stitch, 1, next stitch, 1. Now, the next 2 we're going to decrease. Followed by 3 single crochets. There's 1, there's 2, and then there's 3. And then for our last decrease, we're going to do that invisible decrease again. Scoop, scoop, yarn over 2, yarn over 2, followed by the 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And that's the neck. We're going to start increasing again to start working on the body. So we're going to go from 12 back up to 15. So in the first 2, we're going to increase. So we're going to put 2 single crochets into that first stitch. Okay, followed by 3 single crochets. So it'll be 1, 2, and 3. This next stitch, we're going to do 2 single crochets in there. 1 and 2, followed by 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. And this last set, do 2 single crochets in this stitch. 1 and 2, followed by 3 single crochets. Now we should have 15 single crochets. So this would probably be a good time, if you wanted, to go ahead and put your eyes in. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me get my bottoms. Gonna go, let me smush down this top. If you look at it, and you start seeing this row here, I'm going to count. We're going to go down between rows 6 and 7. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm just going to poke that in there so I can keep my place. And I'm going to put, just going to stick an eyeball in. Pull it through like that. Okay. So there's my row. And I want to do them about 4 stitches apart. Spread it a little bit. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this 5th stitch, I'm going to poke it in there. Just going to take a look, and that looks good to me. I'm going to pull it through in the back. Snappy, snappy, snappy. All right, now we can carry on. So we just did our set, we're back up to 15, and now we are starting row 12, and we are going to go from 15 to 20. And that is the increase followed by 2 single crochets. Here we go. Here's 1 and 2, followed by 2 single crochets. So it's an increase, 1 and 2, followed by 2 single crochets. And at the end of this row, you will have 20 single crochets. I'll meet you there. We are still increasing. So we did 20, now we're going to move it up to 25. And that pattern looks like 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, followed by 3 single crochets. Okay, and we're going to do that all the way around. So it's 1 and 2, followed by 1, 2, 3 single crochets. Increase in the next, 1 and 2, 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. And I'll see you at the end of this one with 25. Now we're going to increase one more time to 30. I don't know why it is. I do this at work too. It's like when I'm sitting at the desk, I have to sit like the last 2 inches of the chair. I'm so uncomfortable. I had to scoot back. All right, increase up to 30. We are starting row 14, and it's going to be an increase in the first stitch. So it's be 1 and 2, followed by 4 single crochets. 2, 3, 4. So it'll be increase, 1 and 2, followed by 4 single crochets. And so we'll do that all the way around for a count of 30. Okay, finished row 14. And now for the next 3 rows, 15, 16, and 17, we're just going to do 1 single crochet all the way around for 3 full rows. So at the end of round 17, I will meet you back here. And I'm just going to move my stitch marker up as I go. So 30 single crochets for the next 3 rows. All right, we got 1 more single crochet here. And now we are going to start decreasing. We are starting row 18, and we're going to start with, we're going from 30 back down to 25. So we're going to do an invisible decrease in the first 2 loops. Scoopy, scoopy. There, there. And we're going to follow this with 4 single crochets. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Invisible decrease in the next 2, followed by 4 single crochets. And that will be our pattern for this row. So you should have a count of 25 at the end of this one. And I'll see you there. And I just checked, I've got 25. Let's decrease again from 25 down to 20. Visible decrease in the first 2. We're going to follow this one with 3 single crochets. You guys are probably experts now. So at the end of this row, I will see you there, and we will have 20 single crochets. That invisible decrease takes some getting used to, doesn't it? I feel like the first time I saw it was with Twinkie Chang. I did her version of Groot, and it was difficult for me. But now that I've gotten used to it, just scooping under there and doing it, I just won't go back to the hard one. We now have 20, And we're going to decrease again down to 15. We are starting row 20, and it is going to be a decrease. I think it's 2, yeah, followed by 2 single crochets. 1 and 2. And that's going to be your pattern. Decrease these 2, followed by 2 single crochets. And at the end of this row, we'll have 15. Okay, we're getting close to the bottom now, so this part is optional. Because you know I like them to stand, I do the back loop. It gives it more of that square look. But if you're just going to stick it in a pot or something like that, you don't have to do this. But I'm going to go ahead and show you. But for this round, we have 15 single crochets. For this round, we're going to do in the back loop, we're going to do 1 single crochet all the way around. And at the end of this row, we're going to still have 15 single crochets. Just go in that back loop. 15. Okay. Okay. So before we get this any smaller, let's go ahead and start stuffing this. And it's always an option. You can stuff as you go. So we're going to just start cramming this in there. And I don't know if I've oversaid this or not in any of my videos, but I like to just do a little bit at a time. I feel like I have more control over where it's going to go. And I do this little number. Let me go slower, but I do it a little bit faster. And then I kind of am trying to get it to where it's on the outside. And then I have like a hole, like a little tunnel. And then I like stuff that tunnel at the end. That way I get it more even. And how firm or how loosey-goosey it is to you is just your preference. I've done all of those a little different. Some of them are firm and some of them are not stuffed very well. But I'm going to make this one a little bit firmer. Also like to almost grip it. I feel like it kind of compresses that stuff down a little bit. Okay. Let's start getting the body now. We could add more in there when we get another row done. See how it feels. And I like to do that. Gives him better shape. All right, I'm going to stop there for that for now. Now we're going to decrease another row. And this one is going to be an invisible decrease in both loops. And for this row and from now on, because we're at the bottom, I'm going to do the hard decrease. I'm going to go under both loops. Doesn't need to be fancy down here. So I'm going to pick up a loop. I'm going to go next door. I'm going to pick up a loop. I've got 3 loops. And I'm going to pull through all of them. And then I'm going to go to the next one. Pull up a loop. Go next door. Pull up a loop. I'm going to do that all the way around. 7. And since there was 15, you can hard decrease 7 times, and then there's going to be 1 left. Single crochet into that one. And now I'm going to go ahead and do my final stuffing and a little bit more. And then we're basically just going to be decreasing all the way around and then sewing him up. So let's go ahead and just do a hard decrease. And then I'm just going to go next door and slip stitch. Fine. And we're going to fasten off. And then we got this looking thing. So let's get this on our tapestry. And then I'm just going to poke it down in there. I'm going to come up the back side. Okay. Pull it a little bit. There he is. So go ahead and make 2 of these, and then we'll get to the fun stuff, making the accessories. All right, let's do the scarf first. I'm going to take 2 colors, and we're going to do a slip knot. It's just not going to get any easier than this. We're going to chain 30, and that's it. $26, $27, $28, $29, and $30. Do my finger length, fasten off. And sometimes I like to just take it and pull it. Secures those knots down too. Look at that. Done. We did that in like a minute. Okay, let's now go ahead and do the hat. And the way the hat is going to go, we're going to do a magic circle, fold it down, and then we're going to chain 1 to secure it. And this is basically going to be a repeat of the first few rows of our head. So try not to dawdle on this. Let's do 5 single crochets in the ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And in that first single crochet, we're gonna do an increase. We're gonna go from 5 to 10. So we're immediately gonna go in that first single crochet and do a single crochet. And then we're gonna go right back in there, and we're going to do another single crochet. That is an increase in there. And if you need to, go ahead and put your stitch marker. And let's just count up to 10 here. So that's 1 and 2. Next one, 3 and 4. Next one, 5 and 6. Next one, 7 and 8. And then 9 and 10. And again, I'm going to secure that later. Now let's go up to 15. And we're going to do an increase followed by a single crochet. And we're going to go from 10 to 15. So let's count up to 15. So there's 1 and 2, followed by 3. Next, 4 and 5. Next one, 6. Next one, 7 and 8. Next one, 9. Next, 10 and 11. Next one, 12. Next one, 13 and 14. And then lastly, 15. Changed it up didn't I? The way I'm counting. All right, let's do it again. Let's increase. We're going to go from 15 to 20. So the first one, 1 and 2. 1 and 2, increase. Followed by 2 single crochets. So that's going to be number 3 and number 4. Number 19 and number 20. One more increase, going from 20 to 25. And the way that's going to look is an increase, 1 and 2, followed by 3 single crochets. Okay, I'm going to leave this row to you, and at the end of this row we'll have 25 single crochets and 25. And now we are going to do, for row 6 and 7, we're going to do 1 single crochet all the way around. So we'll have 25 single crochets. Put my stitch marker in there and I'll just move it up each row. So do 2 full rows of 1 single crochet for 25, of a count of 25, and I'll see you at the end of row 7. 23, 24, and 25. And now we're just going to we're going to slip stitch into the next one and fasten off. Slip stitch, chain 1, and fasten off. And now we're going to bring in our color, and right where we fastened off, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to tie on my color. Sorry, my dogs were barking. And on this one, we're going to do 2 rows of the color, so it'll be 25 single crochets for 2 rows. So, but first we're going to go in there. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to do a chain 1, and then I'm going to go back in there, and then I'm going to do a single crochet, and that's going to be number 1. And I'm going to take my tails with me, and I'm just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch for 25 for 2 rows. And I'll meet you back there. And when you get back around this first row, I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch, chain 1, and then go back in there. It kind of makes you're still going to have this bit down here, but it makes the transition a little bit better. So there's 1, and then this is our last row. Okay, here we are. This is that slip stitch there, so don't be confused that it's a stitch, because we like slip stitched over, we did our chain 1 right there, and then this is our actual first stitch, and that's where I'm just going to go straight into there, and then I'll slip stitch again, and then chain 1 and fasten off. You can still see it, but it's not as dramatic as, I'll find one. Yeah, I think like this. You can really see it a lot more, where I just kind of did single crochet without joining. So it's just a little bit better. Not much, but a little. All right, so go ahead and make another one of these. And now for the top. We have a couple ways to do this. This, of course, is just 1 color. And then I also did it in 2 colors. And then I experimented with this kind, which I don't hate. I think that works as well. But I think for today we're going to do this. You can use your snippers, but I'm going to go ahead and grab some scissors for that. And how I'm going to do it, and I'm just going to take 3 fingers and I'm going to wrap it 8 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can even do it more if you want. Okay. Cut that. And then I'm going to grab, just cut me a strand. And then I'm going to put that on there. Rest my hand on there and tie myself a score knot. And before I do it too tight, I'm going to make sure I'm where I want it to be, as centered as I can. And then slowly tighten it. And then I'll go ahead and do another knot. Okay. I'm going to grab those tails. And then I'm just going to start snipping away. Okay. catch as many of those loops as I can. You know, I love to do poodle top knots. They're like my favorite, standard poodle top knots, which they need to be very, you know, round, but I can't cut this round to save my life. I'll tell you what. So there's that bit of information. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it so it kind of looks like something. And that'll work for me. That will work for me. Let's get our tapestry needle. And I'm going to string them both up. And then in that center hole, I'm going to go through it, turn it inside out. And look, I still have my tail. I'm going to tie a knot. Pretty tight. I'm going to go ahead and do another one. And I think I'm going to do a 3-knot tie today. And you can weave this in if you want, or be fancy like me and do that. I'm going to weave this in real quick. Oh yeah, I like that color. I may keep this one. So yeah, go ahead and make another hat. We've got the scarf. Now let's make this cape. Not too hard. And we are going to chain 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to just single crochet across. So in that second chain, that'll be 1. And you don't have to go on that back hump, just pick up that top loop and just do 1 single crochet across, and we should have 20 single crochets. So just make sure you have 20. We're going to chain 1, and in that last stitch we just did, we're going right back in there and we're doing 20 again. At the end of this row, we're going to have 20 also. It's getting exciting because we're getting really close. I kind of wish we would have done the accessories first. That way when we were done with the snowman, we can just dress them. Okay, there's that last one. Chain 1 and turn. The chain 1 does not count for anything. Okay, so at the end of this row, we're going to go from a stitch count of 20 to 22. And all that means is that in this very first stitch, we're going to do an increase, which is 1 and 2. Then we're going to single crochet all along here, and on that very last stitch, we'll do an increase. And that'll give us the 2 extra stitches we need. So go ahead and carry on with that, and I will meet you at the end of this row. To number 20, last stitch, increase, 21 and 22. Chain 1. In row 4 and 5, we're going to do 1 single crochet all along. There'll be 22 stitches at the end of that row. You're going to chain 1, turn, and you're going to do 1 more row for a stitch count of 22. So here is row 4, 22, all the way down. That last stitch wants to turn down, so I'm going to still grab him. Chain 1, turn, do 1 more row of 1 single crochet in each stitch for 22 stitches. Okay, 22. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to do 1 more increase. So we're going to go from 22 to 24. So in that first stitch, we'll do an increase, 1 and 2. Do a single crochet all along, and then in that last stitch, do an increase, and we'll have 24. And I'll just meet you there. Okay, do that increase there. It'll be 24. We're going to chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to do the bottom trim. that little frill down there. And the way that is going to go is we're going to chain up 3. And then we're going to go into the next stitch, which is right here. Here's our chain up 3. I'm going to go in that second chain, and we're just going to single crochet. Okay, chain up 3, 1, 2, 3. Go into the next stitch, single crochet. Chain up 3, 1, 2, 3. Single crochet in the next stitch. And that is the pattern. 1, 2, 3. Single in the next. 1, 2, 3. Single in the next. And then I will catch you at the end of this row. And 1, 2, 3. And in this last stitch, instead of doing a single crochet, I'm just going to go ahead and slip stitch and fasten off. Is do her tie on. This took me a little bit to figure out how I wanted to do this, but this is how we're going to do it. I love it. We're going to chain 20. So let's start with a slip knot and chain 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get your frill down there. This top row should have 20 stitches. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this end stitch here with our chain. We're going to take our chain and we're going to slip it in there. And then we're going to join it. So let me do this again. We just did our chain 20. Tangled up here. Got our chain 20 on our hook. We're going to go into that first chain. Okay, slide it down there, move it over, grab our yarn, and then we're going to go through 1, pull up a loop, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through. That is a single crochet join. Crisscross look. And we're going to go under that crisscross. That's 2, and we're going to do this across. It's 3, 4. That's actually technically 18 for me. Don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. And this would be 19. It doesn't even matter if you don't end up with your 20, because this is just going around her neck, and we've got plenty of tie. And now, at the end of that, we're going to chain up 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go ahead and chain 1 more, fasten off. I'm going to pull that. Locks that knot down like none other. I'm going to do that over here too. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fasten off this tail here. And then guess what? It's dress up time. Come here, you! Okay. So I got it on her. We've all had baby dolls somewhere in our life. And I'm just going to do a little bow. Okay. I'm going to snip these kind of close to the knot. I'm not worried about it coming apart, but if you are, you can get that stuff called fray knot. But I hardly think somebody's just going to be roughing and playing with these, so. Oh, you guys, seriously, I was so excited about these, and I'm really glad I chose this color. I love it. I don't have another one made. I only made this one for the tutorial, so I'm going to have to make another one for the boy. But it's so adorable. Speaking of the boy, we're going to make him a little bit more interest for his scarf. So we've already got these here. Let's do some specific measuring here. That's about 6-7 inches. And I'm going to do that again. 6, 7 inches. And I'm going to cut those. I'm going to cut that in half. Right in that first single crochet, I'm going to poke my hook through. And then I'm just going to poke, just kind of pull it in so I can get one of them through there. And then I'm going to tie a knot. Let's do the other side. Poke it through there. Pull one of these strands through. Okay. And then I'm just going to make it even. I gotta tell you, it's so much easier. I use those for like all my other snowmen because I was just too lazy to go get scissors. It's so much easier with scissors. Huh? What do you think? It's just too much for me. It's been an exciting day. Are you gonna make like a whole community like me? I thought about doing it in yellow. Like a really bright yellow, but I don't know. I mean, it would be cute as I guess a set or something, but I'm just thinking when people think of little snowmen, I don't think they think of yellow. I didn't do it. But man, this color here, this is like winter color to me. So that's it. I'm going to try and get this edited. I don't know when it's going to be out. I know I said in my last video I'm going to try to get it out and so it can be set for you guys for Wednesday because I'll be out of the United States. But we'll see. It's already like 2:15. I still have to work out and do some stuff. So I hope you guys love it. I hope you make a bunch. They're so much fun. They're really addictive especially once you get a flow going. And I will just catch you guys next time. Bye.